Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Caroline and today I am back with a video where we're going through 3 insane medical treatments throughout history that makes you really grateful that you are a patient in the 21st century. Before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, like this video, share the video, and of course you can also go follow me on my Instagram that's also called The Art of Being Ill. I'm back with a video where we're going to talk about 3 different types of medical treatments that has been used throughout history, or medical treatments. Let's just say that even though it's not perfect to be a patient in the 21st century, at least this is not how they treat you. And I'm thinking that we're just gonna go dive into it. So back in the 1800s, heroin was apparently a treatment for various things, like pain and coughs and things like that, and it was actually marketed as a non-addictive alternative to morphine. So people would use heroin as a pain management medicine and also a coughing medicine, and they did it thinking that it wasn't addictive. Being a person in the 21st century, we of course know that heroin is highly addictive and probably not the best medicine to use for pain relief or for coughing, considering it's very addictive and a little bit, you could die if you overdose, right? To make it worse, it would be sold over the counter. So you didn't even need a prescription from your doctor to buy heroin at the pharmacy. I mean, when you think about it, it's kind of scary and insane. And of course, the result of this was that the population where this was being sold, I believe in the States, I'm not sure it was in Europe, but it was in the US, and of course it ended up people having a really severe heroin addiction problem among the population. Like, it was an epidemic of people getting addicted to heroin, of course. So yeah, at least for all of you chronic painers out there, at least you don't do heroin. So, I mean, well, of course, unless you want to, but like, it's a bad idea. So imagine a world where you would go to the pharmacy because you had a headache or you had a cough, and you would just buy heroin over the counter. I mean, some people still want it to be that way, but it sounds insane, right? It sounds literally insane, and I'm pretty happy that not only is heroin illegal, but it's not even something you would use for any medical treatments. It is definitely not a better alternative to morphine. The second medical treatment that was used in the 20th century was ice pick stabbing. That sounded wrong, but it was you would use something that looked like an ice pick, and you would stick it in people's, I believe it was through the eye, through the eye into the brain to cure mental illnesses. So I'm not even sure. The idea is something about the front of our brain, and it's this, by sticking this ice pick looking things in there, you could affect the brain in a way where it would cause you to not have different types of mental illnesses, because that's the funny thing. It's not like if you're depressed or if you have schizophrenia, it's like it's just mental illnesses they used it for. So it was like a cure for mental illness. Imagine having a bad mental health and your doctor takes out this ice pick thing and says, I'm just gonna stab this into your eye, up in your brain, and then everything is gonna be fine. I mean, I'm wondering how many have done this like voluntarily? Like how many have actually said, okay, let's give that a shot, and how many have been forced because they were in a mental institution or something like that? I mean, it doesn't sound like something I would agree to. If my doctor told me that would be the treatment for my ADD, my anxiety, my depression, I'm not sure I would have gone with it. I'm not sure I would have accepted the treatment. I have to say, I'm thinking a lot of people have been forced. And of course, this doesn't really work. And of course, many people were left disabled because of it. You know, well, first of all, the eye clearly probably didn't survive always. But also just not being able to function as human beings because you're literally stabbing something into the brain. It's like, it's just, for me, I'm like, I'm not sure if it's better to be depressed or lose your eye and be disabled for the rest of your life because somebody stuck a ice pick looking thing in your eye. I mean, like, I'm not sure which one I personally would choose, but my theory is that this was very not scientific. I don't think there is, as far as I know, any scientific evidence that this works, even when it was successful. And I'm quite sure that this was done to people who didn't have a choice. I don't feel like any person with their rational mind, you know, would actually choose that treatment. I mean, the psychiatric system in the 21st century in many countries, if not all, is not perfect, right? It's still something that is not prioritized as much as somatic illnesses. But at least they're not sticking things in my eyes and ruining my brain with it. Like, I mean, at least that's not the case. So the last insane medical treatment that we're going to talk about today is actually quite disgusting. And this was used in the old ancient Egypt. And it was like for your teeth, actually. If you had like a hole in your tooth or infection or, you know, for some reason had pain, they would use dead mice. Yes. They would take a dead mouse and they would smash it into paste and then put that on your tooth. If you had lost a tooth and there was infection or something in the hole where the tooth was, then they would put it in the hole. And apparently this, for unknown reasons, I'm not sure the logic behind this. I'm not sure why a mouse, first of all, and like, I'm not sure, but apparently it would be a relief for any kind of tooth pain you would have. I don't know how and why. I'm not sure. I can't, the logic behind it, and this may be because I'm in the 21st century, you know, I'm not like, but I'm thinking that first of all, putting a dead mouth in, you know, that is made into paste and just putting it directly in your mouth. First of all, of course, it clearly must have tasted poorly. But it just doesn't seem like the right thing to do if you have an infection or like, I mean, it just seems like that's something that would make it worse if we think about where a mouse goes. Like, I mean, like, it's just, it seems like a thing that could make your infection worse and not better. And I'm not sure why a mouse would contain anything that would relieve pain. And the funny part of this, you know, what I always think when I read about these is like, I don't think it worked So why did they keep on doing it? Why did they keep on existing that this, not existing, oh my God, why did they keep insisting that it worked? Because it probably didn't. So, you know, if you had that done once and it didn't work, why do it again? I'm like, but you know, the only logical explanation there is that it was a placebo effect, right? So the belief that the dead mouse paste would relieve the pain was enough for your brain to believe. So if you really believed it, because this came from some kind of a smart person, you know, a wise person or whatever, healer, and you actually believed it to be true, the brain, if the brain believes it enough, it may work because the brain believes it, not because it actually is working, but because your brain is believing it works. And that's called placebo effect. And I'm thinking that's the only way that it could make sense. That is because of some sort of placebo effect. But why not choose strawberries or something like that? I mean, it's like I'm not getting it, and I'm not sure. I couldn't really find out why it had to be a mouse either. I mean, like, it's really weird, but you know, no one really loves going to the dentist, right? But at least they don't take a dead mouse and just smash it and then put it in your mouth to cure your infection and your holes and stuff like that. I mean, like, it's bad enough going to the dentist. I don't need a dead mouse in my mouth, that's for sure. Like, I mean, blah. So everyone, that was today's video. Just 3 kind of crazy treatments. Let me know what you think about it down below. Did this make you a little bit more happy to, you know, be a patient in the 21st century, or maybe not? I don't know. So, but I will see you next time right here on my channel, The Art of Being Ill. Have a blessed day.